Ah. Grr! Did it again. Okay. I swear. Every time this computer turns off or on, the microphone just vanishes. And I've been going on a rambling for a while, and you just got to see me pantomiming. So, to start back all over again, from the beginning, because I talked for the last 3 minutes about nothing. Monkey Butt and Snoopy got in a fight over a little squeaky duck toy and tried to kill each other, and now they aren't talking, and they're on either side of the ottoman right now. So I don't know if either of them will make an appearance. They're pretty upset at each other. They're just like, I can't look at you. Crypto, still in the death throes. I still think has a long ways to go. Elon's tweeting about Dogecoin again, even though Doge is below 6 cents. Also in other news, Elon's eldest child, one of the twins, came out as trans today or yesterday, and was basically saying, I want nothing to do with my dad. Well, it makes sense because Elon's posted a bunch of transphobic stuff. That's very interesting. Normally when someone finds out that their child is trans, more often than not, they start to understand perhaps the perspective. Okay. I have other news? Duh. I think Redbox is coiling, ready to explode. They turned off the buy button on options for that, though. So no getting big old cash windfalls from that unless you can find options somewhere. That's all I have. Oh, and to warn you, my voice is absolutely shredded. It's the post-COVID-ness in the throat and lungs is giving me just a hell of a deep voice. And please forgive me if I sneeze or go into a coughing fit, because I've been doing that quite a bit the last few days. A lot of clearing of my throat. So, we'll see how long I can keep talking. I've got my water, and I've got my chair, and I'm ready to go. But until then, you get one of these. Wait. Is people saying sound isn't working still? And I have the sound on. The sound's going. Wait. Alright. Okay. Alright, people are saying... Okay, sound is fine. Alright, okay. Because I'm still seeing, after I've been talking, still seeing people saying the sound isn't working. Sorry, apologize. Every time my computer reboots, for some reason, it just deletes the microphone, and I forget to check that, and then I just become a mime for a while. Okay. Where am I? What was I doing? Oh, I was going to answer questions. That's right. There's a couple of super chats that came in right off the bat, and unpaid overtime gave me coordinates, but those coordinates do not have a north, a south, an east, or a west in them. So... let's figure out where. I gotta turn on Google Earth. Boink. Oh, Google Earth isn't turned on, so let's turn on Google Earth. Oops. Wait. Nope. Okay. Let me go. There we are. Okay. I'm going to take some wild guesses here. We've got 4 options to play with. So. I'm going to pretend that this is north and this is west, and we'll see what that takes us. Takes us to coast of Africa, to a desert field, which is absolutely nothing. Okay, I'm going to change this to east and see where that takes us. It takes us to, a mountain. All right, this might be it. Got ourselves a volcano. That's a nice volcano. Where are we? Are we in Ethiopia? Tucide. We are in, Chad. So we're in ancient basalt flow volcano in Chad. That's pretty cool. Looks like we got some to a natron. The best soda lake. Oh, we got a soda lake going there. pumping out gas that will kill everybody. Well, that's a cool volcano. I don't think I ever bothered looking at volcanoes in the middle of Sahara. There's quite a few of them here. This looks like a basalt plain. So probably flood basalts popped out here. Ancient hotspot. Is that the location? They're unpaid overtime? Check this out. Okay. Well, cool volcano. Let's take another gander and see if perhaps this is one of the locations. Go south. Okay, that's definitely not that. It's middle of a field there. And we'll turn this one back west. Go across the Atlantic into the middle of the ocean. So it must have been looking at the volcano. Okay. All right, unpaid overtime. That's where you want me to go, is the volcano. Because that's the only interesting thing out of those 4 possible coordinate locations. Let's look at that shield volcano again. Here we go. So, this is definitely a basalt flow. It is definitely a shield volcano. Ducide. What do you got to say for yourself? Potentially active volcano. All right. Typical lava shows. Gotta see the full article because I gotta know more about this thing. Pretty tall, 10,000 feet. Okay, it's filled with a lava lake. Still got soda pouring out of there. When was the last time it erupted? Paleo Lake, geology. I don't know enough about this at all. Odd olivine and plagioclase, yeah, basalt. Eruption history. So it's 430,000 to 110,000 years ago. May erupt again. So radiocarbon dated. Deposits beneath cones, 12,000 years old. So something that erupts every 10,000 to 100,000 years. That's pretty cool. All right, put that on the list of places to go. I'm all about it. Unpaid overtime. Why not? Oh, feather. You guys are distracted. In the chat, you were saying the sound still wasn't working, and so rather than turning off my intro, I went, "Oh, the sound not working? What the heck?" And I didn't turn off my intro. Okay. Oh, today's just a shit show. Okay. We're gonna hit the other super chat here. There's another super chat somewhere in here, I thought. Where'd it go? Oh, unpaid overtime telling me no sound, and bleh 8319 saying muted. Okay. All right. No market today. I'm really bringing my A game here, so you guys are just getting just 100% huge turd. And there's Drew Saul telling me to turn off the intros right off the top. If I just looked at that thing. Chakuseki, Houston, thoughts on 1/6 hearing so far? Do you have any option position this week? Have you had sea urchin sashimi before? I've had sea urchin. I don't remember at all what it tastes like, though. I know I've had it. It tastes like fish, I think. 1/6 hearings, I think they laid out a pretty good case that there was lots of crimes involved and that there's a lot of people that were tied to the administration who should be convicted, or at least charged. And 60% of Americans now feel that President Trump should be arrested and charged with the insurrection. 60%. That is a very large majority of Americans. We seldom can agree on anything that much, except for we all agree that abortion should be real, should be illegal, and that there should be things like background checks on firearms. So those are arresting Trump, abortion, and background checks for firearms are the 3 things we agree on most as Americans at this point. Yeah. Okay. Drew Saul, curious about crypto dump. Who might get margin called? I think a lot of folks are facing margin calls, and that's why we're seeing crypto dumps today. Crypto holdings can't be counted towards assets under management that are used as collateral for these margins. So if they need to raise cash, they got to sell a bunch of this crypto. And if there's a big crypto sell-off, you don't want to be the one still holding on. You want to sell now so your losses are less than they would be. So I think that it's been a sort of a battle of dumping by whales. And, anyone who's buying crypto right now, you're still going to get hosed. I think there's a long way to go for Bitcoin especially. Because US dollar tether coin, as we all know, is just a giant $80 billion Ponzi scheme. And it is the asset used most to purchase Bitcoin. So if this tether to dollar fiat currency is as fake as we all know it is, then it's going to crash and crash hard, and it's going to bring down the entire crypto market with it. It's the third most valuable crypto. It is the most used as an actual currency of any crypto out there, and there's less than 3% of the cash that's supposed to back it up that exists. The entire reason Tether coin is supposed to peg to $1 is that you give US dollar Tether a physical dollar. They're supposed to take it and put it in a bank account and keep it there, earning interest, so that's their profit. And when you want your dollar back, you give the crypto coin back, and they give you your dollar. Well, out of the $80 billion that people have spent on US dollar Tether coin, there's just a small amount left, less than 3% left in those bank accounts. So there's actually nothing to peg US dollar Tether coin to the dollar, except for just people like crossing their fingers and praying. That's it. And the minute dollar Tether coin, the faith in it goes away, then the entire crypto market, Ethereum and Bitcoin, are going to crash really, really hard. I was convinced this was going to happen last May when it was crashing, but somehow they saved it. But with the criminal investigations into US dollar Tether coin, the crash of Luna and US Tether, these things all depegging, I think, is going to spell bigger doom and more margin calls. And a lot of these groups, they took people's coins, right? You stake them, so you're putting up there to borrow, and they guaranteed you some sort of interest rate, like 20% returns. And then they would lend these coins out as liquidity in the market and sell them over and over and over and over. Well, it's just a Ponzi scheme. They're lending your coins out in that they're selling them, and then somehow taking that cash from selling them and getting you more coins. And then eventually that gravy train ran out. It doesn't take that long for Ponzi schemes to run out of marks. And when they do, they all come crashing down. So A3, Celsius, they're all toast, and they're never coming back. And they're all going to prison. That's what's going to happen to them all. So, yeah, that's where we are. I forgot. Chakusegi asked me if I had any options positions this week. I have no option positions for this week. I might do some weeklies. I think we might still see some jumps out of some of the big player meme stocks, but I haven't decided entirely if I'm going to do that yet. Normally I don't like playing weeklies, but we'll see. I usually like to get something that's like 6 weeks out, because there's going to be a bump somewhere in there where I'm going to make some cash. Okay. Where am I? Why can't cats digest their own fur? Because the proteins that make up your hair, the keratin, doesn't break down in acid. So that's why. You're going to need an alkaloid, like lye, to break it down. And that's just the truth of it. Okay. On the entity, when Oilco is spun out and no longer part of material, will you be able to talk about it again? Maybe? I'll check with the elder sibling and see what he says. P-Stack, did you see much damage on the Kokuhala highway on the way to Banff from Vancouver? No, they fixed it all. So all the damage that had happened from this crazy flooding they had earlier this year, where the poor town of Merritt just got wiped out, like half the homes in Merritt are destroyed. That's all fixed. So I didn't see that at all. They were expecting tons of damage to happen from the rainstorms that were coming through walls in Banff, but it went to the south and east of us, so that we didn't get hit with that. It rained a lot, but didn't rain enough to, kill people in Canada, at least. At least where I was. So, yeah, I went basically just south of Vancouver, across through the Rockies and the Canadian side, and then I came down through the Kootenays, through Idaho, and across the Columbia Plateau, across the U.S. on the way back. And I should have stayed in Canada. I don't know. I know gas is more expensive. It's prettier longer. There's points in the Scablands you should watch. You're like, oh, that's nice. But then it's just basalt. Pizza Tech also asks, have you ever been to Nahanni National Park in Canada? I have not. Only national parks I've been to are Kootenay and Banff. Been to some provincial parks, but I don't think I've been to other national parks. I don't think I have. Lots of provincial parks I've been to. Andrew Stewart Houston, did you read Last Bear Standing's write-up on quantitative easing, quantitative tightening, and reverse repo? I got a link to it. I have not read it yet. I've been basically grading homeworks all day because I need to get them done. I have like 200 of them to go. Ugh. I have a lot to go. So I haven't been able to read too much. You guys may have to just fill me in on the chat today so that I can keep up with everybody. Going into tomorrow because life gets in the way sometimes of me absorbing information because I have to grade the same homework assignment over and over. I hate grading so much. Students, I love you. I love teaching you. I love educating and pontificating. But man, I hate grading. Grading is just... But, someone's got to do it. Super Steve, why can't hedge funds just file Chapter 11 to avoid liquidating assets? Because if they filed Chapter 11, that would mean they don't have their clients' money anymore. So they're going to face liquidation anyway. Hedge funds work in a different realm than like a normal company because they have holdings, and those holdings belong to their clients. So they can't quite file Chapter 11 on the behalf of their clients. They have to give their clients their money back. So it's different than like a company that has shareholders or something like that. Oh, the dogs looking at each other? Oh, they're hoping to get treats from the roommate. Super Steve, also thoughts on when the stock dividend will be. I think it's going to have to be after Gmerica fully goes live with the marketplace. They said it's going to happen this quarter, and we've got 10 days left. So after that, I presume. That's what we're waiting for, I believe. This dog hair is still everywhere. Everywhere. I do everything to mitigate it. It just appears all over the place. Okay. Aviation Channel, Houston, happy birthday. We must be in the end game now. I think so. I think we are like that thing that's swirling the drain, and it still hasn't gotten to the point where the very buoyant stuff works their way down. I was listening to, what was it, Weekend Edition, and they're interviewing a guy about the market. Some guy with a British accent. He's like, "Oh no, I don't think we're anywhere close to a recession. The economy's fine." Like, buddy, home prices are crashing. Mortgage-backed securities are crashing. The stock market is crashing. Crypto is crashing. We've got potential World War III happening and worldwide famines as a result of grain not getting around the world. We've got fuel prices that are out of control. We have Americans, I don't know about other nations, but Americans' use of credit is through the roof at the moment because our discretionary income has vanished. A third of people earning $100,000 a year say they're working paycheck to paycheck. $100,000 a year. They're making, what, $9,000 a month, and they're living paycheck to paycheck? A third of the people at $100,000 a year are living paycheck to paycheck. We're screwed, man. It's going to hit us really, really hard. And, the government doesn't want to admit that it's going to hit us hard because they want to like keep everyone believing that no, nothing to see here, because they don't want to get blamed for it. Because if they start saying, well, we should be preparing for one hell of a market crash and crash the economy, then they're going to get blamed for that crash in the economy. Like, you did this by talking negatively about the economy. Which is total BS. We've been talking about this for over a year. That there's so many pieces of the economy that are just teetering on the edge, and any of them can go over any moment. And I think, stocks have gone over, housing has gone over, corporate real estate has gone over, bonds have gone over. We got at least in the inflation, of course, we've got at least 5 things so far that are falling off that cliff, and we're like, well, we haven't hit anything yet, so things are fine. So until you hit the bottom, I guess things are going to be fine, because you're not dead yet. As you're falling, you're like, I'm still alive, even though that ground's getting closer and closer and closer and closer. I'm still fine. I'm still whack. Maybe we should have done things differently. So I think that's where we are. Okay. Keller S. Houston, I enjoy your rants, and I'm sure I'm not alone. But what is the worst pseudoscience that makes you go on a rant because it's just wrong? Oh, okay. I mean, there's a few of them. My biggest one is astrology. Astrology is just a hunk of shit. And what it does, and this is my pinned tweet, is I call astrology birthday racism. And people get mad at me for saying that. But racism is basically ascribing attributes to people based on their race or ethnicity, right? You're saying this person is this way because of how they were born. And how they were born was with this, skin color. And that's bullshit. We know that's bullshit. We know that's racist bullcrap. But astrology does the same thing based on the date someone is born. Just because you were born on, March 7th, you are going to be this way and always be this way, and nothing's ever going to be different. It's ascribing the stereotype to someone based on their birth date. And astrologists are just wrong constantly. I mean, Michael Cera and what's his name? Liam Neeson have the same birthday. That right there should tell you that astrology is wrong. Those guys have nothing in common with each other. And one of the challenges I give my students, because in the intro to astronomy courses, I always get somebody who is an astrologist lover, and I just ruin their day. But, they'll say things like, well, astrology is the oldest science. Astrology isn't a science. If it was, they would have corrected the errors by now. If you can prove the null hypothesis, then you got to revisit and start all over again. You look at your entire theory and go, oh, my theory must be wrong because my prediction didn't happen. And you can say, okay, Pisces Pisces, it's a 4-star day. You are going to have a great time, and you're going to be a stranger who's going to make your life better. And I can read that horoscope to my students, and they go, okay, yeah, so, it's a positive horoscope. I'm like, cool. How many Pisces died in Aleppo today? How many Pisces are starving to death in Sri Lanka? How many Pisces had Russian artillery or a rocket blast through their home in Ukraine? Right? If there's a Pisces anywhere who did not have a 4-star day and did not meet a stranger who made their life better, then all of astrology is wrong. Plus, there's certain mechanics behind astrology which started 5,000 years ago that are completely different today and not acting in the same way. So, let me use this lens cap as an example. We've got the 12 zodiac signs, right? They go around the Earth, around the plane of the ecliptic, the path that the moon and the sun go on as well. Your sign is when one of those constellations of the zodiac is behind the sun when you're born. So, if you are a Taurus, the sign of Taurus was behind the sun when you were born, right? That makes you a Taurus. The Earth wobbles in its rotation. It spins, but it spins like a top. And so the axis kind of wobbles. It does one full wobble about once every 26,000 years. And as a result of that wobble, the plane of the ecliptic shifts ever so slightly throughout the 26-year period. So in the 5,000 years since the zodiac signs were created, everything shifted about 6 weeks. So if you're a Gemini, you're actually a Taurus, because it shifted 6 weeks. You aren't actually a Gemini. Not only that, but there aren't 12 zodiac signs. There's 13. There's one called Ophiuchus, because the zodiac was originally built upon the lunar calendar, and the lunar calendar has 13 months in the year. But when the Gregorian calendar was set up at 12 months, they just had to delete one of them and pretend it didn't exist anymore. So most of the folks who believe in astrology and who do like charting for people don't even know that the charts are off by 6 weeks and that there's actually a 13th zodiac sign. They don't know. Why? Because they never bothered to learn. And all they're doing is doing hippie bullshit and scamming you. I could read you. You could be a Cancer, and I could read you an Aquarius, like zodiac, and you would go, "Oh, that's totally me." And it happens all the time. You can just make that shit up. It's all connotative, and so, yeah. So that's probably one that bothers me the most, because people make life decisions based upon what this hocus pocus tells them, and I mean, Nancy Reagan ran the White House via an astrologer, while Ronald Reagan was just Alzheimering out at the end there. So I don't believe that nations should be run by crackpots like that. So screw you, astrologers. You're not a science. You're a bunch of charlatans, and everyone is better than you. So there. How's that for a mini rant with my voice that's vanishing? Okay. Where was that question? That was Endgame 1. That was... Okay. Guitar stuff. Happy birthday, Houston. I tested positive yesterday. Oh, man. Thanks for doing the show and give me something to do. If 2022 is 2008 Part 2, what month of 2008 are we in? We haven't had a big institution go under yet, which is pretty crazy. I think we should have, and they're somehow being buoyed, and I don't know how. But I would think, like, we are post Lehman Brothers collapse, where we are in that range. We know the shit's coming. We're pretending like it isn't. Gas prices are about where they were in August of 2008. So we might be, 2 months ahead in that calendar. Big dog. Hey. Take that tennis ball and shut up. But I think we're due for the comeuppance sometime come September or so. Especially the fall, because construction slows down in the fall, and so new housing stock seems like flatline, and people go on unemployment for the season because people aren't going to be doing as much construction in the winter. So unemployment numbers will look gnarly. And if gas prices are still as insane as they are, then summer travel season is going to look really worrisome. And, I mean, the last show, someone was mentioning that vacation rentals in the Jersey Shore and Hamptons are going empty. And the prices are falling precipitously. Because I think gasoline prices are really eating up that discretionary income for folks. And... That's gonna play a big role, and the oil companies are gonna try and get as much as they can while they can, but I really think that that curve of cost benefit analysis that they're looking at is okay. We can have half as many customers but charge twice as much, and we're going to make this much money than if we drop the price by 50% and have twice as many customers. They're looking at that whole cost-benefit analysis. I think it's going to slowly bite them in the ass, because the folks who have to drive to work or have to drive places, they're going to run out of money sooner than later, and the people who are paying them now aren't going to be able to pay them in 2 months. And they're going to be stuck. So it's I think it's all coming together. I honestly think most of the inflation we're seeing is not related to the influx of printing, but it's actually related to people just charging more. Right? The average wage at McDonald's didn't go up that much, but McDonald's is still charging more for food. The wages at airlines didn't go up, but the airlines are still charging more. The wages at the fuel companies didn't go up, but they're still charging more. I mean, oil prices in 2014 were higher than they are now, and gas prices were $1.50 lower. So the price of oil has nothing to do with the price that's currently being charged, and that's just, Shell and BP and ExxonMobil and Chevron Texaco all just making more money. They're just gobbling it up. Nom, 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 nom. Oh, we have to charge more. Inflation. Bullshit. It's just greed. Fuck it. Nationalize them. That's what I say. Okay. Andrew Stewart, Houston, can you explain how and why quantum entanglement functions even at a great distance, like I'm as smart as a lone Bobert? No. No one can explain it. We just know that it happens, and it's a mystery, and we don't know why. So, no, I can't explain it, and neither can anyone else. The person who can't explain it is going to get one hell of a Nobel Prize, though. And I would gladly listen to how they figured it out. Corey Jones, what up, yo? So it was Binance that dropped $2 billion into the market this weekend to keep it propped up. That was probably a terrible idea on their part. Because now they're out $2 billion and it's going to crash again. This is the stuff that the plunge protection team keeps running into, is that they keep dumping money in the market to keep the price propped up, and it just goes... We've wiped out all the money that was dumped into the market in 2020 to keep the market afloat is gone. That money's gone. It's been vaporized. So, yeah, propping stuff up is great for a short-term fix, but it's not a long-term solution to a fundamentally unsound market. And when you have a fundamentally unsound market, it needs to correct back to the prices where things should be trading. And the plunge protection team, in combination with all the corporate stock buybacks, have really, really, really made this a weird fake bubble that's going to crash hard. We can't live in pretend land for this long and get away with it. Eventually something slaps us in the face. Well, at least the puppies are happy with each other. They're actually wrestling right now rather than trying to kill each other. So that's great. Good news. Having a great time over there. It's WrestleMania in the hallway at the moment. Fantastic. Oh, my lungs need to just... but they're still full of stuff. Okay. Guitar stuff. Houston, hope you enjoy your birthday celebrations tomorrow. Many AMC YouTubers seem to be going full prepper. I'm assuming it's just a way to generate new content for clicks? I don't know. I mean, chill with the fan, and we'll have to pick ourselves back up again. But I don't know just how bad it will get. Granted, we have some semblance of safety nets in Western society, so that when stuff does, that people get caught by it. Mostly, the U.S. is worse than most first world nations, but I think we're going to be seeing a lot of repossession of vehicles, a lot of home foreclosures. It's going to be rough, and because we've got some really terrible tenant laws in the country. Renting is going to be brutal, but prices will eventually come down. I think they're going to come down quite steeply for rentals and home prices in the coming year. Excuse me. And that's just, that's going to be because people don't have money. The money's running out, and they're not going to be able to pay for anything. And a lot of people who pay for their rental units that they own with mortgages are going to discover that they can't charge enough in rent to pay the mortgage coming soon, and that they're going to be underwater on these homes. And what happens when a whole bunch of landlords get foreclosed on? Well, then you have dozens of homes entering the market at once rather than just one home here and there. Also, it does weird things because the banks don't like evicting tenants. It's a pain in the ass. So sometimes those tenants can sit in those homes not paying rent for years. So what happens if you save $25,000 a year because you're not paying rent because the homeowner has been foreclosed on, but the bank doesn't want to leave the home empty and let like all the copper wiring get stripped out by a bunch of meth heads? You save money. So some of these renters might be in some good shape at the end of the process, because they could save up enough money for a down payment on a house and buy their landlord's home for cheap in the end, or get another home that's been put up for auction or is being short sold for a steep discount. So if you're a renter, check and see if your landlord might be overextended on these mortgages when demand starts to drop and prices start to drop, and maybe they've got adjustable rate mortgages or something that's going to make it explode. Woohoo! That's what's been happening. I keep testing myself, see if I rebounded. I'm negative. But man, my throat and nose have just been gnarly the last 2 weeks. Oh, happy dog. Look at you, big dork. Yeah, you're a big dork. Okay. Okay, all right, here we go. Amy Sanchez, Boss Blunt seemingly thinks Russian oil and gold will somehow save them, and China will flock to support Russian oil and gold-backed ruble. China will take Russian oil and Russian gold, but they'll do so at a steep discount. They don't want to pay market price for that stuff. I think China sees Russia now as someone who's going to be their subject and not their equal. Russia and China have been butting heads ever since the end of World War II. Even though they were both communist, they were not friends. They did not like each other. They were on opposite sides of the war in Vietnam, the Sino-Vietnamese War. Yes, there was another war in Vietnam after the end of the Vietnam War the U.S. was involved in. And Vietnam won with the help of Russia, and there's just been tension. But I think China jumped on board with Russia's invasion of Ukraine because they said, okay, you guys will float that balloon, and if it works, then we're going to invade Taiwan, no problem, because the world will respond. And now China is looking at the world responding and just destroying the Russian economy and saying, maybe it might not be the best idea to invade Taiwan, even though they really, 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 really want it. I don't think China has the hegemony of enough developing nations for them to sort of create a new Cold War status. Plus, their entire economy is dependent upon hard currency purchases of goods made there. They export their products and import euros and dollars. And that's their economy. And if they give us a reason to go, you know what? We can't buy anything from you anymore, then their entire economy crashes. And their entire economy is crashing anyways because a third of their economy is real estate, and real estate is in the shitter in China. So I don't know if... I don't know. I don't see Russia getting out of this one very easily. All the technology used to drill and pump oil in Russia currently is American technology. And now that the Americans are not sending over their engineers and their parts for these things, oil production in Russia is going to start falling off because equipment will break. There'll be nothing to replace it. There won't be the trained crew to do the work, and there's no manufacturing in Russia. There's very little, and the advanced manufacturing isn't very good. So Russia's just going to sink lower and lower. Kaliningrad is basically cut off from the rest of Russia at the moment, and they're running out of like goods. So there's been crazy runs on stores. Yeah, I mean, there's a gold-backed ruble, but no one wants rubles, and no one wants Russian gold. So what good does it do you to have all that Russian gold and and force people to use rubles to buy it when no one wants a ruble and no one wants the Russian gold? So, yeah. Okay. Online entity. How the actual F does Twitter organize the posts in my feed? Not a clue, because whenever I see something like, oh, this looks, I get like half sentence into something that looks interesting, and it just blinks and resets, and then I'm lost forever. So I don't know. Okay. William Morgan, Credit Suisse's credit rating has been downgraded and is nearing junk status. They're one of the largest banks worldwide. They're desperately trying to raise funds. Yeah, Credit Suisse still has a bunch of toxic assets left over from Archegos. Sorry, left over from Archegos, and they know if they try to sell it, they're going to lose money, and they don't know what to do. They made a lot of bad bets. I think Credit Suisse is going to cease to exist in its current form post what is coming. Wells Fargo and Bank of America are my other two bets in the U.S. that will cease to exist. I'm very curious to see how investment banks are going to come out of this. I think JP Morgan has been working hard to sort of distance themselves from these short hedge funds and bad deals in the DTCC. But I don't know if Merrill Lynch or Goldman Sachs, those guys have done any of that. I think when this is all over, it's going to be proof that we need to antitrust the big banks. We need to break them up into much, much smaller banks and more numerous banks. And we need more investment banks operating so that the bulk of the business isn't going to just three of them. We need more options for investment banks in the U.S. There's no reason why the population of the United States is twice what it was 50 years ago, but we've got fewer banks. Like my community, the population here is 10 times what it was 50 years ago. But instead of the 10 gas stations, we have 2. And instead of the 4 grocery stores, we have 2. It doesn't make any sense. We used to have like 25 taverns, and now there's 3. Like how? How did a population that was able to support 25 taverns back in the day only support 3 now, and the population is 10 times larger? People like to go out. People like to drink. I don't understand it. Consolidation, man. Consolidation sucks. We need way better antitrust laws breaking these things up. Okay. Always on, Houston. I don't think MOS happens until the media and government can switch the narrative. They saw it coming all along, and we're on retail side. What are your thoughts on the media? Some of the media has taken that turn. Bloomberg had an article last week about the coming short squeeze happening. But granted, a lot of that media is paid to play down a MOAS because it's cheaper for Citadel and short hedge funds to slip $10,000 here and there to financial writers to basically poo-poo it. And the minute that check bounces, then they're not going to do their bidding. So we have to wait for that check to bounce, I think. And then, they go to cash that check for $50,000 to write an article about how AMC investors are ding-dongs or something. And if that check bounces, they go, well, I'm going to write the exact opposite because you stopped paying me. And we may see a wave across the media in that case happen. Jonathan, are there any negatives to building a space elevator using another government's funding, more specifically Middle East? Well, I think the negatives to a space elevator are vulnerability to terrorist attacks. And, there's been companies that have been making these, like, carbon nanotube ribbons that are very strong, which were the ideal things to make these devices. But I don't know what it would be like when you had 30,000 mile long ribbons, if they'll actually hold or not. That hasn't been done in practice yet. That's a lot of weight to be attached to one object and to hope it holds. So yeah. Okay. Wheat Wild. So, when Moon? When Divi? When will AMC squeeze? When will my happily ever after begin? Man. Sooner than later? That's all I can give you. My crystal ball may work really well with figuring out assholes' moves, but I can't predict that. Oh, my throat is so scratchy. Okay, now it's time to scroll through the 10,000. I can't hear what you're saying because your mic doesn't work because you're a big dumb idiot. No sound. Can't hear you. No sound. No sound. Oh, press record. Damn, I didn't press record. Shit. Dang it. Okay. William Loback. Houston, can you recommend an affordable computer-controlled telescope? I suck at zeroing in on anything like fun like Saturn. They've gotten a lot cheaper since I was focused on those back in the day. You could probably get a Meade or Celestron that auto does it for about $1,000 now. Let's see here. Let's take a look. See, huh? Ooh, these are like $3,000. Oh, you guys can't see because I don't have the thing up. Duh. Okay, turn off the Earth. Turn on the Chrome. Go to there. Done. And, oh, that's just the support. I don't need the Media Star Guide. This is just Meade telescopes. Let's see. No, they're still way too expensive. $6,000 for, man. How about just do cheapest auto guide telescope. That's on a Dobsonian. That is not auto guide, nor is that. But it's pretty decent telescopes for a couple $100. Get 4 or 5 inch reflector. That's not too bad. I'm now curious because I haven't looked in years. That's just a spotting scope. Spotting scopes are not what I'm looking for. Go away. How about auto cheapest computer guided telescope? Okay, here we go. Computer telescope system. Is that for viewing? Oh, here we go. Let's look at this guy. This one's got it. $399. Intelligent automatic tracking telescope. Sharper image. Huh. Okay. There's probably some knockoff Chinese ones you can get for $400. So, yeah. I mean, the telescope is not huge on this little freak. The one we used to use for doing star tours up on Mauna Kea. This is like 18 years ago. Back back then that was a 20-inch telescope and it cost over $20,000. Had auto leveling, GPS in it. So the GPS go, okay, I'm at this latitude and longitude, so these should be the stars available. I'm at this altitude. I'm on this type of terrain, so let's auto level, and then it would go find a star and ask you if that's that star, and if you hit yes, or get in the center, and go, and then find a second star, and then find a third star, and it was like, I know where everything is. And you can just punch in what object you want to see, and it would just automatically whoop, and then slew across the sky as that star moved. It's pretty cool, especially for, that long ago. My guess is that those telescopes are probably still at least $10,000. But, automatic tracking for $399 is pretty good. I'd want a better scope than that, though. Something bigger. 6-8-inch mirror would be perfect. I can get desktop ones for $200. But that's just like using one side of a binocular at this point. Light gathering is important, so you want as big as possible to gather as much light as possible, and then you can see more. 6-inch, $1,000. 5-inch, $800. Basically the same telescope, probably exact same motor and everything, just an inch larger, get more viewing area. If you want a decent one, probably $1,000. So this Celestron here is probably about as decent as you'll get with having pretty good optics. And when you start to get the mirror larger and larger, then it gets much more expensive. So, yeah. Okay. Aaron Salentine. The market is squeezing across the board, I notice. Well, the shorted stocks are starting to squeeze. And it's the lower ones. A lot of the OTCs are starting to pop right now. How long till the hedge funds start closing their bigger short positions? Also, nice to hear from you, Houston, now that my microphone's working. I think, and Girk and I talked about this once, I think it was with Girk, like a year ago, that there's thousands of stocks these companies shorted. And if they're going to be faced with all of them exploding at once, the best way to mitigate that damage is to slowly try to close out the ones that are worth pennies first. Because if you shorted Sears at $20 and Sears is currently trading for 25 cents, you may as well close that position now, bite the bullet, pay the tax, and be like, all right, fuck it. We got Sears out of the way, we got Blockbuster out of the way, we got Lehman Brothers out of the way, we got, I don't know, Nortel, whatever companies also got shorted out of existence 10 years ago. You got those out of the way. So those are clear off the books. Next, they'll attack like the I don't know how to call this, like the junior division stocks, your Blackberries and Nokias that they shorted. You're going to close those ones next. So those things are, $5 or whatever. And you're going to work your way up, start closing as much as you can, because you want to leave as few of them as possible left before GameStop goes nuts. Because the minute GameStop goes nuts, it is over. Because they know from when trading shut off those 3 times in the last few months that the next ask on the layer 2 chain there is for like $600,000. So the minute GameStop sells one for that much money, then the market cap adjusts and the margin is reflected as them being underwater hundreds of thousands of dollars for millions of shares that they shorted. And that all of a sudden takes their liabilities into like the trillions just out of nowhere. So they're going to want to get rid of all those little guys first. And I think that's why we're seeing some of those things pop off, like Sears right now. Where's Sears? Sears still bounced back to 25 cents. I haven't checked. SHLDQ. It's at 20 cents right now. Okay. So Sears is holding strong in that range. Carolina Brito, Houston, did you buy GME options? I'm waiting for a little dip on Tuesday to put all my bullets. I was hoping for a bigger dip. I was hoping for a dip below 100, and I was going to pick up a whole bunch, and then it popped to 130, whatever it is right now. So, yeah. Okay. guitar stuff. Now that I have COVID, maybe I'll get Houston voice. It is much lower right now than I don't know. I feel like I could go to the karaoke and do some Barry White. Can't get enough of your love, baby. Okay. Braden Pettigrew, are they going to turn off buying options for GME and AMC? Maybe if there's FOMO happening, but if we get to full-on MOAS, it won't matter if the buy button is off, because that's when hedge funds are liquidated and the trading computers are doing all the work, and we're going to be selling anyway at that point. I have no interest in buying a share of GameStop at $1,000 a share. That's not. I don't want to be buying one share at $1,000 when I can buy 10 shares for that same amount now. So by the time price gets to that point, it's no longer retail doing the purchasing; it's the trading computers doing the purchasing. Okay. Spartan, Houston, do you think Redbox rips tomorrow? I don't know if it'll be tomorrow, but Redbox is definitely like coiling. It is just ready to jump. This is a stock that the volunteered short interest on is like 200 something %. The cost to borrow is like 800%. They have an active takeover bid from Chicken Soup for the Soul. They're gonna pop. They have to pop because there's fewer shares out there than what's been shorted, and the minute the FOMO kicks in, that price is going to go up, and a lot of those guys are going to be forced to close out. It's a very, very small float as well. Give us a tour of those bookshelves already. You guys get the mini tours whenever I hop on to say, oh, look at this book. It's too exhausting to get up and give a full tour. Almanacs. Brink. The science books are on the shelf. You can't see, sort of behind me this way. Some biographies up there. Some sports books. Atlases and maps down here. Funny stuff. Lots of series of books. Humor books. Bottom corner. Religious writings. And then just crap I thrown in there. There's some first editions on this side. Not too much organization, but and then the other room's got more. Plus the 120 years of National Geographics I have. I have National Geographics dating back to 1900 or so. That's what's in the other room. And then the books that haven't fit here. There's more. There's more elsewhere. There's still some boxes of books I haven't opened up in a long time since I moved. Okay. Carolina, I'm not answering. G-Funt, what's up, HW? G-Funt and his brother took me to lunch while I was in Banff. It was wonderful. It was great. Great. I love to be able to meet you guys out in the wild. It's fantastic. Dog, your head is right in the way down there. Sorry. Yes, I know. Okay. Didn't mean to step on your head. That was under my feet. But no, it was great. Great to see you guys. Great to meet you guys. And put some faces to some screen names. So anyway, what's up, HW? No crash until at least after the end of the month. It looks like the market makers are hedged to prevent a crash until those options expire. They're going to try as long as they can, for sure. I mean, granted, market crash means GameStop goes to the roof. That's the nature of it being currently negative beta. That it is a liability stock, and when assets dip, that liability goes up, and they're going to be forced to close at some point. So, yeah. How long it will last, I honestly don't know. They come up with new little things they can do to survive another day. But we've seen the NASDAQ's down 34%. And it's got a lot further to go. So, they can't... There's just like... It's like trying to fight a wave in the ocean. The wave's going to win. You can punch it in the face all you want. But the wave's going to knock you over. Daphne Houston, do you think Ethereum will eventually go back up? What about Loopring? I think they'll all go back up, but I think currently the price for everything is too high. That they've got to correct and go much, much, much lower. I wouldn't doubt if we see Ethereum drop below $500. I wouldn't doubt if we see Bitcoin drop below 3,000. There's no discretionary income to make these purchases at the moment. And so as these whales dump their shares in the market and as these over-leveraged retail accounts get liquidated, we're talking hundreds of thousands of accounts being liquidated a day for the last month. Just $1 trillion in market cap gone. That the customers are vanishing. So no one's really buying. And if you're buying right now, if you're buying Bitcoin at $20,000 and you know Bitcoin's going to be below $5,000 in a few months, then why are you buying Bitcoin at $20,000? There's a lot more crashing to go. So, yeah, a lot more to go. And when it bottoms out, then it will go back up. But I don't know after this crash if there's how many people are going to be so turned off from the crypto market because they just got wiped out and lost homes and cars and wives and whatever else, if they'll ever come back to it or not. There may be a lot of trepidation in some of the folks. Remember, a year ago, 4% of Americans said they no longer worked due to gains they had made in crypto. All those gains are gone. So I expect a lot of folks that weren't trying to enter the job market before will be trying to enter the job market by fall. Beats by the Wood, Houston, hope you've been well and your mom too. I am better. My mom's doing fantastic though. She's striding. She's walking everywhere. She's volunteering at the senior center as a receptionist at their front desk and loving every second of it. She's finally seems to be truly enjoying her retirement now that her legs work. So that's great. Josh Walker, do you buy the argument that for the past 40 years we have been having inflation, but it has been asset inflation? Now costs are catching up. I think the stock market has been heavily inflated in general. That if we didn't have a system of corporate buybacks, that the stock prices would probably be half what they are. Back down to like Bush era levels. 15,000 is probably a reasonable Dow for the amount of money that these companies make. But the Dow, I think, has been heavily inflated by the plunge protection team and corporate stock buybacks. And that, we talked about before, these corporate stock buybacks take money away from research and development and improving infrastructure and logistics and employee pay and a lot of the things that make the company more viable in the future. And it's just for the greedy reason of corporate executives having in their contracts stock price goals that trigger bonuses. So if your company doesn't make any more in sales than they did the year before, but the stock price goes up and it hits that $60 target or whatever, and you get a windfall of $100 million from meeting that target as a bonus, then you aren't going to do what it takes to make the company hit $60 2 years from now based upon, diversifying the company or improving products or customer experiences. You're just going to go, well, I'm going to trigger a $5 billion stock buyback and force the price up by reducing the float and increasing buy pressure. I'm at that $60. Woohoo! Yay! I met my goal. And then you do like a stock split and makes many more shares out there again. And then, the cycle repeats itself. But eventually, your customer goes away and a competitor comes out with a better product. And you are left holding the bag at that point. And then you hire BCG to come in and advise you, and then you take the company and make short hedge funds a bunch of money. Okay. T. Houston, do you still hold GME? Hell yeah. Why would I not hold GME at this point? Scott Paulin, Sailing Grand Prix was over the weekend at Navy Pier. Super Cook Racing Boats. I love sailing. Is so much fun. It's just so great to be out there. When you guys get MOAS money, even just get a crappy sailboat and go sailing around, or sit on somebody else's boat and go sailing around. It's just so it's one of the few sports that is meditation as well. It's just great to be out there, just like bloop 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 in the water, wind blowing, sun shining, sunglasses on, eating sandwiches. Just great. Azib Adal, thanks for everything, Houston. Also, I just want to know what happens if I buy GameStop shares tomorrow. Do you think I will still get the dividend for it? Thanks. Yeah, they haven't announced a date of record yet. So until they announce a date of record, you can buy shares up to that date and qualify. So yeah, if you buy shares tomorrow, you should qualify for the dividend because they have not announced the date of record yet for the dividend. Okay. My personal ball washer. Josh Walker, the Defense Department has now confirmed over 400 UAPs. Are these things China, time travelers, aliens, things from the movie The Abyss? UAP, different term for UFO. Unidentified aerial phenomena. Okay. Yeah. There's been a lot of them. I told my story. I've seen a couple of them that I can't explain. One was a human, though, but I still have no idea what he was flying. I would love to know what all this stuff is. I don't know. I mean, if you were an alien, would you really want to, like, talk to the rest of us? I don't think so. I think you're like, half these people are just awful. I don't want anything to do with them. Their technology is just so focused on murdering each other. I wouldn't want to be an alien making contact with our planet because all the technological advances we've made have basically been in the pursuit of slaughtering each other. And if you're from another planet, you might not be from a planet where the concept of like murdering each other is a thing because you're all part of the same species or something. And you're like, why would I murder like my fellow creatures who should be working together? And you get to a planet where we're like, fuck you. We just slaughter each other wholesale. You might be like, holy crap, what are they going to do to us? If they're so willing to kill each other and they're part of the same species, what are they going to do to us? And the answer is we're going to fuck you up. We love killing things. We love hunting. We love blowing shit up. We love our nuclear bombs and our depleted uranium munitions and our rockets. And if we have an excuse to slaughter a bunch of aliens, we will do it. All of our movies are about slaughtering aliens. Granted, we do have our Star Treks where we like coexist with aliens, but we like killing stuff, man. We like doing that. So, what are those things? I don't know. Josh Walker. I don't know. Oh, reset of the chat. Gotta go back to everyone making fun of me for the second. Oh, I missed it. Okay, well. I apologize if you chatted sometime between like 1:35 and 1:55. I don't have you. Okay. The moon is a hologram. Okay. Let's see here. Where are we? All right, so now we got to the point where I'm complaining about horoscopes and astrology. Okay. Josh Walker, my horoscope said I would become extravagantly wealthy the same week I found your channel. Well, then obviously it works. Okay. Dr. GME on March 7th. Here's a funny thing. So I taught this life math course. I may have told this story too before, but I taught this life math course, and part of it was, teaching them how to do their taxes and how to apply for loans and, investment strategies and even like probability and gambling. I taught them how to count cards and stuff. And one of the funny, like weird facts with probability is if you get 30 people in the room, it's almost a 100% chance that 2 of them are going to have the exact same birthday. And my students are always like, bullshit. And every single time I taught this class, I taught for like 5 years. And every single time I taught this class, I would go, okay, who are your January birthdays? And get like 3 hands up. What are the days? Oh, January 9th, 10th, 4th. Okay, not that one. Okay, February birthdays. Raise your hand. A couple of hands go up. What are the birthdays? 14th, 17th. Okay, not you. March birthdays. Raise your hands. What's your birthday? March 7th. What's your birthday? March 15th. What's your birthday? March 15th. Guaranteed you're going to have at least 2 people with the same birthday in a room full of 30 people. So it just works out that I can't remember. I have to pull up the exact equation to figure that out, but I don't remember off the top of my head. It's been 4 years since I taught that class. But yeah, so if I throw out a birthday at Dr. GME like March 7th, someone's going to have that birthday. Especially in 500 people on board. JPEC 21, you're going to get me through my next 2.5 hours of work. Much love, Houston. Well, especially if you do it in slow-mo with my super deep post-COVID voice in slow-mo. Just going to be so slow and deep. And I feel like just a soul singer or something. Just ready to just massage your ears with my sultry, dulcet tones. Chris R. Houston, isn't it funny how most people blame inflation on the stimulus checks and ignore the trillions the Fed threw at the market in 2020? Probably because Trump was president then. Yeah, they seem to blame, out of the $30 trillion, 16 trillion or whatever that was straight up printed that we know about, and then a bunch more the pledge protection team has been using and reverse repos and everything else. My guess is we're at 30 trillion, and like 1 trillion of that went to the people. The rest of it went to people who are already rich, into big corporations and banks, and all that money has just been wiped out. Like, we printed it and it's gone. So the inflation we have now, I think, is a combination of supply chain issues like crazy, war, and greedy fucks. And that's it. Those are the 3 big reasons why there's inflation going on right now. And that's the big part of it. You getting enough money to survive while the world was facing a global pandemic, that wasn't it. The trillions of dollars given to banks, investment firms, dumped into the market, given to rich people via PPPs, that outstrips anything that the average citizen got from this. And not only that, but the citizens are out of money. So if they're out of money, you can't continue to blame inflation on them because they're not spending like they were. They're spending at a fraction of the rate. And what spending they are doing is them being overextended, having to use credit to cover their bills at the end of the month. So, we'll probably see bankruptcies start to spike because folks they're having to use their credit cards and they're probably not meeting their minimum payments now, and it's gonna be gnarly. Moscato, if you were born on Mars or any other planet, the zodiacs won't apply anyway because the days, months would change due to the amount of time each planet takes to revolve around the sun. Yep. And one of the other things, you can ask somebody in astrology, like, hey, explain to me the science behind, that group of stars that's 400 light years away having an effect on my life. And they'll be like, well, there's like magic forces out there. No, there isn't. We know of 4 forces. Which one of those 4 forces is the one that applies? And why does those forces only apply when I'm outside my mother's womb? If I'm inside my mother's womb, there's some sort of Faraday cage that she has in her stomach that blocks all of these star forces from affecting who I am and who I am to be. But only when I slork out of her vagina do I suddenly am I suddenly affected by the stellar positions of celestial bodies. That doesn't make any sense to me. This glass of water has more effect on me gravitationally than Jupiter does. And Jupiter is kajillion times bigger than me, but it's so far away, and this thing's so close to me that it has much more effect on my life than Jupiter. Bitcoin. The technology needed to cross the galaxy universe is far beyond what's shown in movies and books. We would not even know they are here. That's true. They're probably really good at concealing themselves, and they only get seen when they want you when they want you to see them. Think about it this way: like, if you suddenly found yourself with the technology to travel across the universe, right? And knowing a lot of you, would you travel the universe and be like, hi, my name's John. I came from Earth and I want to meet all of you. Or would you kind of just want to fuck with people? Well, these are not, it's like the Star Trek warp-capable society. So this is not a warp-capable society. We're not supposed to interfere with their affairs, so they always interfere with affairs anyway. But, like, you get some podunk backwater or a bunch of violent, angry rednecks like us. Are you really going to be like, hey, I am Gorblat? Or are you going to be like, ooh, I'm just going to fuck with these people for a while. Because I don't actually want to meet them, but I do like shaking that ant farm and watching them go nuts. So that's, that might be what they're doing. Okay. Okay. Hanson Kinney, whatever happened to Melvin Capital closing their positions? They got 10 days. They said they're going to close it by June 30th, and I think they've started. Which may be, driving some of the sell-offs we're seeing, some of the big red days we're having. Okay. Stonk O Nader, July 3rd to July 5th is National Protest Gas Days, gas company. So people aren't supposed to get gas on those days. Try to hit them in their pockets. I mean, okay. I don't know. National strike might be more effective. Just everybody just refuse to go to work for a week and just watch what happens. Or just, make a list of demands, just refuse to go to work ever until those lists of demands are met. And just see how quickly they respond. We as individuals can crash this economy so hard whenever we want by just not buying things and not using them. And just going, you know what? I'm just going to sit at home and eat ramen noodles for 10 days and give the finger to everybody else. That might be one of the strongest solutions we have as a society is a general strike. We've never really done one in the U.S., and we could really hold this country hostage and see some lasting change if we just refuse to do anything. But, yeah. Okay. Adam Price, my dad's in the hospital. The whole hospital's running low on food supply. Ooh. Where's your dad in hospital, Adam? Zach D says crypto's pumping again. Well, in the hour and a half that we've been going on, crypto's right back up there again. No, it dropped again. It tried and then just fell off. Back down to 20,300. So we're at right about where we started the day. Huh. Ethereum looks like it wants to drop below 1,000 again, though. So we'll see. See where that goes. Oh, wait. Someone messaged me. That wasn't important. It is not important. Okay. All right. Say my name. Say it. Say it. Houston, don't remember who I was listening to yesterday on YouTube, but he was saying that they were going to sell like Houston Wade, then explain your selling strategy. Oh, the ladder system. Yes. Find a price point that will allow you to retire and sell one share. Right? So if you were to sell all the shares at that price point, you could retire and, live your life and not have to work for the man anymore. But if you sell one share at that price and then set the level higher, in no time, you can be in ridiculous money territory. And if you pay attention to the volume that's being traded, you can be like, okay, I don't think there's too much volume to be traded anymore. We're now at this crazy level. I'm going to just dump most of the rest, maybe keep one or two for infinity pool, and be done with it and nothing to worry about ever again. That's my goal. That's what I'm working for. It's a pretty simple strategy. And yeah. Daphne says, thank you for being a trooper, streaming while sick. It's not so much that I'm sick anymore. It's just that my lungs won't clear. This is... And I feel fortunate because my COVID never progressed to pneumonia or anything. But, man, every day is just lung butter. It's gross. I want to get rid of it. And I want it to go away. So I'm hoping, with time and probably not talking for 2 hours at a time on the video will go away. Okay. Well, thank you, Daphne. We got 35 minutes, so I might be able to make it the 35 minutes or so. I don't feel like my voice is vanishing entirely. But it is scratchy. Okay. William Morgan won't be posting as often. Sorry, and you're welcome. William Morgan, thank you. You got some battles coming up, so keep battling, my bud. But I do appreciate the dump of news you give me every day on Twitter DMs. I appreciate it because it saves me having to go out and find a lot of stuff. I thank you guys. I've got 3 folks who love just sending me news articles, and I appreciate them so much. Jersey, Martin, and William. You guys are like my news hounds. And I love it. It saves me from having to do it myself. Cuts the time. It allows me to get some grading done, too. Okay. Scott Poland, I watched a bunch of friends rush to buy homes, 30s. They're going to get effed. Tried to warn folks, but they were determined to settle down. All they did is set themselves back. I think anyone who bought a home in the last year is going to be underwater by Christmas. Hopefully they had big down payments, and so that their mortgage is not greater than the value of their homes. But most people who do the 5 to 20% down, I think that they're going to be underwater. Yeah, if you bought a home in the last year, you're going to be underwater by Christmas. You will not have paid off enough equity to have your mortgage be less than what the home's value is. So that's going to lead to short sales. It's going to lead to people just walking away from their mortgages. We're going to see a lot of that happening, just like we did 2009, 2010, 2011. Phil Scribb, so you're telling renters not to pay rent. If their home gets foreclosed on, yeah. If your landlord gets foreclosed on, don't pay your landlord rent. They don't own the home anymore. And the banks often will not try to evict you right away because the lesson they learned early in the last crash was if that home sits empty, the meth heads steal everything. They rip all the wiring out of the house and they sell it all, and then the home becomes even less able to sell. But if you have someone living in there, mowing the lawn, taking care of the house, keeping the meth heads away, you don't care about evicting them right away. And I can think of a friend of mine who was a nurse. She bought in 2007 this little bungalow in West Seattle for, I don't know, $400,000. And by 2009, the house was worth like $120,000. And she's like, why am I paying, $2,000 a month mortgage on this place? It isn't worth it. And she was looking at going to med school to become an anesthesiologist anyway and going to med school. She's like, look, I can walk away from this thing. And for 7 years, they'll be on my credit. But by the time I graduate med school and finish my residency, it's not going to be there anymore. So who cares? So she's like, yeah, screw it. So she put her friends in there. And her friends lived there for like 2 years, not paying her, not paying the mortgage, not paying the bank. Bank of America didn't do anything, didn't evict them. And then they saved up enough money in those 2 years and bought a house for cheap in 2010. And then she put her sister in there. And her sister lived there for like 2 more years, not paying rent and anything. So for 4 years, no one paid anything to anyone for that home. The bank didn't get any of their mortgage. No one was paying rent to the landlord. The home was foreclosed on, but no one was being evicted. And so for 4 years, that home was occupied. The lawn got mowed. And when finally the sister had saved enough money to buy her own home after 2 years, she left and the bank swooped in and then took the house and sold it. So for 4 years, no one was paying anyone. So essentially, $100,000 got saved by those folks, those 2 groups, the sister and the friends, over those 4 years. And they were able to then buy their own homes. So, yeah. Yes, Phil Scribb, if your landlord gets foreclosed on, don't pay your landlord any money because they don't own the home anymore. And don't pay the bank. Just live and save money. And you'll be able to do it for years. Save that money. You can do your own down payment and buy your own home later. It's foolproof. Later, skater. Okay. Okay. And the chat just reset again. Dang it. Raw. Okay. Well, we got to scroll back up. Where did we leave off? We left off. So I'm only 50 minutes behind now. All right. So I'm at 210, 212, where we are here. Okay. Scott Paul in China also getting locked out of computer chip lithography machine TEFH. There's only a few companies that can build those computer chip lithographers, like the little things that cut little transistors and stuff out of there. And those machines are really expensive. They're made by a company in Germany. I can't remember their name, but they make like 12 machines a year. And one of the reasons China may want Taiwan is to get the lithography machines, because a bunch of them are in Taiwan. Okay. Wheat Wild. It's 21st of June here now, and it's my birthday. Turning 40. Wheat Wild, you're 40 today. Happy birthday, bud. You spring chicken, you. Enjoy it. It is the 20th, so it's the longest day of the year. It's going to finally get warm here next week. We're going to be in the 80s this weekend. What? We've not been above like 71 degrees for more than 5 hours the entire year. We're finally going to get warm next week. Woo! Getting ready for 4th of July. It's going to be nice. But happy birthday there, Wheat Wild. I should send you a message saying happy birthday. There you go. Monkey butt? What are you going to say, buddy? My brain completely just drew a blank all of a sudden. Oh! Not this Tuesday. The following Tuesday is our charity show. I have not thought at all about what our charity should be for next Tuesday's charity show. Give me some ideas. Send them my way. I know you guys have sent some in the past that I've totally been like, oh, that'd be a really good idea in the future, and I don't remember what they are at the moment. My brain is blank. So send me good charities for next week, and I'll pick one for our charity show. And then the following Wednesday, I will be up in Canada for a day, talking to some folks about possibly doing a TV show in the future. I don't know if I'll be able to do a show on the 29th, but if we do, it'll be a late one. So at least we'll have the Tuesday charity show there. And I should be able to do my regular shows this week. So we'll have that. Okay. Okay. And yes, William Morgan, best of luck, buddy. You do have some badass surgery coming up and zip zaps from some lasers and targeted radiation, so you're gonna come out of it, but it's gonna be pretty gnarly in the meantime. So my dear friend of mine had the exact same condition, except hers was 7 centimeters. It was huge on the side of her head. She had just won the national championships in kickboxing for her weight class. Went to Worlds like 2 months later, but she had a really bad concussion. She was like trying to keep under wraps because she wanted to fight in Worlds and not tell anyone about it. And got to Worlds, just got her ass kicked. And she was really punch drunk from getting her ass kicked at World Championships. I think they were in Spain that year. So they did a MRI, and it wasn't concussion. She had a brain tumor. She won the U.S. National Championships with a baseball-sized tumor in her head. And then it finally was really affecting her by the time she got to Worlds. She just thought she was concussed. But pretty badass. So they cut a giant rectangle in her head, took out the piece of skull, carved out about 97% of the tumor, because there's lots of very delicate bits of brain in there, little wrinkles, and then put the chunk back in, put a metal plate in, and did targeted radiation and got the rest of it. She's been in remission for 6 years, 7 years? Holy, 8 years. That was 2014. 8 years now she's been in remission, so that's awesome. So get up there, monkey. Get up there, you dog. Come on. So yeah, so it's, gotta fight. You lose some hair. Give yourself some crazy, like, cyberpunk haircuts, because the targeted makes, like, all the stuff go away. But yeah, you're gonna do well, man. You're gonna do well. Okay. Yeah, most people's 401ks will continue to lose value because the market in general is just so, yeah. Luke Alexander, Houston, do you see Be Big squeezing before the end of the year with the dividend already being issued? Bought a whole bunch of December calls, hoping it would rocket soon. Oh, Be Big has been so slow. I get, like, all these companies, like, we're going to issue this thing then. And then they run into, like, SEC paperwork bureaucratic nightmare. And they're like, well, we can't do it when we wanted to, so we're going to do it this time. And then the SEC bureaucratic nightmare. I don't know when they're going to squeeze, man. Be Big was so heavily shorted, but they really drove that price down a lot. So I don't know if they've done any closing of positions or if they've just doubled down and shorted more. I want Be Big to just pop because I've, got my 100 and whatever shares, and I'd love for it to be worth much more than they are now. But I don't know when. I think Be Big's one of those ones that may go when GME goes, because it's just going to be closing out positions everywhere via the liquidation of these hedge funds. Raw. Okay. All right, where am I? Amy R. I'm at the beginning with no sound. Look on your face when you realize it. I need to add to the checklist Look to see if the microphone equalizer is bouncing green or not. If it isn't, assign the microphone again. Okay. Daphne Houston, there's actually a nasty flu or cold going around that's not COVID. So maybe I got the double whammy. I mean, I was in Banff with like 3,000 people who were unmasked and just yelling in my face. So, because lots of music playing. And when music's playing, you're just like, ah, blah, blah. And so, I probably got something else that's in addition to COVID recovery, I wouldn't doubt. Man, my throat is so scratchy. Give me 1 sec. Oi. Boy, monkey. You're a good dog. Oh, that made you come in here, you big monster? Okay, hi. Yes, hello. Hello. Hi. Okay. Okay. Oh, man. William Morgan, my tumor is likely COVID-connected. Spike proteins are causing a massive 831% increase in tumors and cysts. Whew. That's gnarly stuff, man. One of my friends has been in the hospital with a very rare autoimmune disorder where your body suddenly sees your red blood cells as the enemy and starts attacking with antibodies, and then you go anemic. Like, almost deathly anemic. So, yeah. And then battling long COVID, it's just gnarly. Gnarly, gnarly, gnarly. Okay. 7 cents. Hey, Houston. AMC claims it is probably ready to pounce after the next earnings call. What could they pounce at? Well, I think this quarter has been fantastic for the movies. They're probably making a fortune off of Jurassic World, off of Top Gun. There's been a lot of big movies that have come out, and we haven't had a quarter like this since 2019. So I wouldn't doubt if AMC's green at the end of this quarter. It's not going to be enough green to make up for all the debt they still have, but people are going to movies. They're sold out. I tried to go to see Top Gun while I was in Banff, because last night I was there. The weather was kind of meh. A lot of the folks that I normally hang out with had left, and so I had one more night, and I was like, there's Top Gun. Both showings, 7 o'clock, 10 o'clock were sold out, so didn't get to see it yet. But, that's telling me that people are going back to the movies finally. And they're probably going to have a good quarter this quarter. Okay. Big dog. You are a big dog. Euphoria Morning. Hey, Houston. Tom Petty, thoughts. If you haven't heard Running Down a Dream, do so. Everyone's heard Tom Petty, man. It's like, Beatles. Have you heard of them before? No, I've heard Tom Petty. I've seen Tom Petty several times. Tom Petty, I enjoy him, but he never got me excited. Like, I could listen to him. Didn't ever make me go, oh, wow, this is amazing. I'm going to listen to this song 10,000 more times. It's just like, that's an enjoyable song, but not enough for me to go hog wild with Tom Petty. He just blew out my speakers. Sorry. All right. Daphne, when my house closed, hoping to buy a chunk to get me 125. All right. And you're moving to Bay Area, aren't you, Daphne? Thought you were. I might be confused. Kyle Cooper, I'm craving breakfast cereal. Which which one I should get. I did some Honey Nut Cheerios with some chopped up banana inside of it today. That's the way I like to do my Cheerios. It's delicious that way. Yesterday was a Honey Nut Cheerios day, though, so today was Honey Nut Cheerios. Yesterday was a Cinnamon Toast Crunch day. So I had Cinnamon Toast Crunch yesterday. Because Cinnamon Toast Crunch and then some peach or strawberry yogurt. So a little bit of like the cinnamon still on your spoon. Oh, it's delicious. Okay. All right. Boom, boom, boom. JPEG21, do you think UAPs aren't from outer space but from Earth, just a different time? Ever heard of timeline mechanics? Trillions on Twitter make me wonder. We talked about timeline stuff and time travel. The problem is that the Earth is moving through the galaxy, right? And so if you go backwards or forwards in time, you will not end up where the Earth is now. You either end up where the Earth will be or where the Earth has been. So unless you can somehow teleport while time traveling and get it so specific you don't end up in like the vacuum of space or inside the crust of the Earth, I think it's going to be really brutal to do time travel. That just assuming that because you went back in time, you're now like in amongst the dinosaurs or something on the surface of the Earth, you'd be amongst the dinosaurs several iterations of the Earth's orbits ago. Because it takes about 120 million to 200 million years for the Earth to do one orbit of our galaxy. So you go back in time 65 million years, so just before the dinosaurs got wiped out by the comet, you would be like a quarter of the way through the galaxy at that point. So, oops. You might be surrounded by the wrong stars and be able to identify where you are at all. CC's Ghost, Houston. Can you tell me anything cool about the Salton Sea? Any hope for cleaning it up? Well, Salton Sea smells like dead fish because that's all it is. The Salton Sea did not exist in modern times. It was formed via irrigation from the Colorado River. So basically there was a huge flood event in the 1920s that caused the Salton Sea was below sea level, caused Salton Sea to kind of appear, and then the irrigation from the Colorado River kept it going. There is no outflow for the Salton Sea, so Salton Sea is just an evaporate basin. In the 1950s, they're like, well, heck, let's make this the California Riviera. So they made all sorts of housing developments, really cool Salton Sea yacht club. The building's pretty cool. It's kind of Art Deco looking building. But the problem is that because there's no outflow, the fish that ended up living there ended up basically suffocating to death because there wasn't any fresh oxygen going in, and lots of runoff from farming operations in the area in the Indio Valley. And so if you drive through the Salton Sea, it smells so bad because literally it's like trillions of fish dead. And you look at these nice sandy white beaches. Now I can feel my voice going. You go to these, like, sandy beaches, and you go to the beach there, and it's not sand. It's just fish skeletons. Just billions of fish skeletons make up what is the beach along the Salton Sea. They had to build a berm around Bombay Beach because the Salton Sea was inundating everything and flooding everything. So you can go to Bombay Beach, and there's like abandoned trailer parks there, and there's like literally like you can look in the windows of some of them, and people just left. Like there's still clothes in the cupboards. There's still like food on the table. It's pretty crazy how people just like abandoned. So they built a big dike around Bombay Beach. There are people that still live there, but the smell is so terrible. I can't imagine living there. It just smells like dead fish, like 30-year-old dead fish everywhere. But that was a big hair that just floated by. But yeah, Salton Sea is pretty crazy. I don't know if they're going to be able to clean it up. There's just so much runoff from agriculture that I don't think the nitrates can allow anything to live in that water. It's gross. It's really gross. Okay, CC's Ghost. Was that good enough for you? Pump my bag, if you say so. Did you know there is a God the Mother in the Bible? It says, without her, we can't have eternal life. If you ever hear about it, keep it in mind. God the Mother. I don't remember reading that. I read the Bible cover to cover. God the Mother. I'm just getting a South Korean woman who says she was believed to be the mother of God. All right, I'm going to look that up more. I'm just getting this Korean lady over and over again. She seems to have quite the following. There's yeah, it's up my bag. I don't know. I'll have to look it up, see if there's anything in the Bible specifically about that, and not just some Korean lady. Because the Koreans are pretty good at creating these cults. Sun Myung Moon and his Unification Church and the mass marriages, and he told everyone, "Hey, I am the reincarnation of Buddha. I'm the reincarnation of Jesus. I'm the reincarnation of Muhammad. I'm the reincarnation of all. So I'm all of them in this person." And I'm going to start a right-wing newspaper called the Washington Times, and you're going to pay for it with your religion. It's pretty good business, worth billions of dollars before he died. I don't know who is the reincarnation of Sun Myung Moon, but yeah, Reverend Moon, where are you? Talk to me. Okay. Okay. Marco Garcia, Houston, what happens to the housing market when it crashes? What changes? When the housing market crashes, that means people aren't buying homes, and homes aren't getting sold. So the price deflates. And if the price deflates, then the value of people's homes around those homes for sale deflate as well. And if their homes deflate to the point where folks owe more money than their home is worth, then they're likely to walk away from the house or do a short sale or something. Because why would you be paying $3,000 a month on a house that you could buy and pay $1,000 a month on? And foreclosures will go up because housing is a huge part of our economy. And if the housing market is dying, then other businesses related to it are going under. Construction, real estate, furniture, whatever. Like those places are also crashing really hard, which then is a poison pill across the rest of the market, and people are going to be getting laid off, and it's gnarly. So, but it means if you've got cash on hand, such as from MOAS, you can buy homes for cheap. If you can buy a house for cheap, do it, because the market drops, but then it bounces right back up again. And so if you bought a house in 2010, your house is probably worth 2-3 times what you paid for it by this point. So you can survive a dip in the market because you're covered. You may have already paid off your mortgage or bought with cash or whatever. You're fine. Your home is not going to go below what the value is, what you owe on it. But if you bought a home in the last year or two, you might be screwed. You may end up owing a lot more on your house than what the home is worth, and that may put you in one of those situations that just kind of sucks. So. Yeah, that's what we're looking at. Okay. Okay. Got 9 minutes left, and then I've got to take these dogs out, and they need it. It's actually not raining, so it's a nice day for it. And let my voice rest. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Scott Paulin, after MOAS, I'm going to spend my fortune leveling hills around schools so no more generations of Americans ever need to walk uphill to school both ways. I walked downhill to school both ways. That's how rich I was. Best of the rest, 222. Buyback isn't all bad. Short sold companies use it to catch short hedge funds. That's true. They do. But they do it at a cost of improving, storefronts. Like GME had to do big buybacks a few years ago because they're getting so shorted. So they bought back 30% of all the shares in the market. And you can look at a GameStop store and be like, yeah, they have not invested in improving this atmosphere or experience because they couldn't. And then, they had to go out and sell shares when the price spiked to raise capital again. But, you get companies like Abbott who, rather than fix really, really bad manufacturing lines for their baby formula did $5 billion in buybacks to raise their stock price, and then the baby formula started poisoning babies, and they got closed. It's gnarly. It bites them in the ass eventually. Azibadal, thank you for the super chat there. I appreciate it very much. And for your good questions earlier. Okay. Dr. Zeno, man, I was done with the market in 1929. Giant G Diamond Hands. Hey, Houston. Love your show. I'm happy in the growth in subscribers since the beginning. Question, what is the going price of yellow canary diamonds in the gold in the market today? Well, gold's at 18. If it's fluctuating between 1,800 and 2,000 an ounce. Yellow canary diamonds, those have like a logarithmic scale. If you've got a 1 carat one, you're probably looking at $10,000 a carat. If you have a 5 carat one, it's probably $100,000 a carat. If you have a 10 carat one, it's probably $1 million a carat. So as you go up in size, the rarity increases and the intrinsic value becomes much, much more. If you've got anything below a carat, yeah, $1,000 a carat. So you've got a half carat one looking at, you've got a $10,000 a carat below 1 carat. So if you have a half carat one, it's probably worth $5,000, somewhere around there. $4,000 is what you'll pay for it. And colored gemstones in general kind of work that way. The big four, I would say, are canary yellow, blue, pink, and red. And red is the rarest. If you have a red diamond, it is worth just a fortune. You're looking at a 1 carat red diamond is worth $1 million a carat. And I gave away in my very ill-fated treasure hunt, I gave away a 0.22 carat red diamond. So the gentleman who discovered that treasure did get a very rare red diamond in that haul. Very small one, 0.22 carats, less than a quarter carat. Very small, but worth a good chunk of change, even though it's so tiny. And man, he got some good stuff in there. I was just talking with the production company at Banff, just what a fucking disaster my treasure hunt was. But man, the video Scott made was so funny. We have to appreciate that. That video is so funny. If you guys haven't watched if you are not aware of my ill-fated treasure hunt and have not seen the treasure hunt video, it's funny. Scott did a good job, and he made it so hilarious. And I sent that video off to one of the production companies to be like, this is the hilariousness I want to bring to my show when I start teaching people about geology. I want them to laugh their asses off while I blunder my way across the desert and teach them stuff. Because, I will gladly make you laugh, remember something, and trip over my dick at the same time, as long as you remember it. Right? So, there you go. Great way to gemval.com if you have gemstones in your collections. Let's see if they're still running. I haven't looked them up in a while. Yeah, they're still around. Gemstone price guide. It's like $100 a year to join if you are a gemstone collector. Oh, you can't see. Here we go. Gemval. You can log in. It'll list the stones put in the stones you own. It'll give you basic values as to how much they're worth in the market. Not at wholesale though. At like peak sale in a store. That's the price they list. You will probably sell your stones at wholesale, which is much like a third the value of the price people pay at auction, or from like a jeweler who has a beautiful woman with large boobs leaning over a glass case and a security system and cameras and guards and all that stuff. You pay more for that stone than you do as the dude who wholesales to those jewelers. But it's got hundreds of different kinds of stones, rare stones, not just diamonds and sapphires and stuff, but you can put in tourmalines and opals and kunzite and red beryl and rhodonite and all sorts of other rare stones that get in there. So if you're interested, Gemval, that's your price guide. And you can do appraisals and stuff through them also. But I haven't been signed up with them for a while because I haven't sold any gemstones in a while. So my login has lapsed, that's for sure. Okay. Do. BW brand, I need to clean the house. It's getting to the point where I'm going to back the truck up to the door and just load the sucker up. Need to simplify. Yep. Every once in a while, you just got to purge, man. Just got to purge. The beginning of the pandemic was when I did my big purging. I had a bunch of stuff from leftover roommates I had to get rid of. And I still have a bunch of stuff that I still need to get rid of. And just, I need my garage back. That's what I need. So. BW Brand should have wrote a board down and hitched right up. When I was going to school at Seattle Central, I used the metro buses as my lift ticket. Take the bus up the hill for $1.50 or whatever, and then I'd skateboard down to the ferry. It was great. I really got good at skateboarding incredibly fast down really steep Seattle hills. Yeah. I don't know if I would have the stones to do it now. That was a long time ago, 15 years ago. But now as a gangly, awkward man in my 40s, I think I would probably die. But, you know, did it while I was young. It was great. Okay. People talking about Buddhism in here. He doesn't take federal holidays. Yeah, today's a federal holiday. I didn't realize that Biden had made Juneteenth a federal holiday. I was like, why can't I go deposit this check at the bank? Oh, it's a holiday today. All right, hey, more good. I'm glad they made Juneteenth a holiday. It is a day to be celebrated, and little history lessons should be taught to everyone as to why it's a holiday. Got the San Francisco people talking about location, San Francisco. Anna Rulnick, Houston, what is your source for the Russians having like 10 people between Putin and the nuclear button? I think it's 9 is what they have. I mentioned a conversation this weekend, but couldn't cite a source other than you. I think it might have been Trent Telenko, or maybe he might, or maybe Kumal. It's a guy at, is it Columbia? That's the he's Russian. He's a professor in Russian studies. They were talking about how the nuclear football in Russia is different than the U.S. Like in the U.S., you know, some guy holding a nuclear football. The president says, "Bring it over here." Punches in the code and signals, you know, launch. And that code goes to basically either a nuclear sub-captain, a captain of a destroyer, a bomber, or somebody at an ICBM silo. And it says, hey, this is the code coming through, verify it. Yep, that's the thing. Hit these buttons, launch. Whereas in Russia, it goes from Putin. Putin gets the football, gives the code to some commander, who then goes to somebody else, so it goes to somebody else, goes to somebody else. And finally it works its way down to the person who hits the actual button. But there's like 9 approvals and codes that have to be matched along the way. And so somewhere along the way, someone go, no, the buck stops with me. And it's not being launched. But it might have been Trent Telenko who I got that from, who was talking about did a Twitter thread on, you know, the difference between the Russian nuclear football and the American one. I'll have to look that up for you there, Anna, so that I can verify that for you. But I'm trying to remember. It was definitely back in like February or March when I was reading that Twitter thread from one of those guys that specializes in Russian knowledge. Okay. Daniel Bernard, highly recommend Bored Ape Nazi Club from Philion on YouTube about how Bored Ape NFT was a 4chan trolling plan. I wouldn't doubt it. It was such a dumb idea. I bought myself a monkey picture for the price of a house. Anyone want my monkey picture? No. No one wants your monkey picture. Plus, I can just right-click and save it. And now I have your monkey picture for free. And I can go to OpenSea and I can make that monkey picture NFT again and sell it to another dumb idiot who doesn't know that I just stole this monkey picture. No, 2 people. who claim they own the NFT rights to my monkey picture. It's just so dumb. Okay. All right. I'm at 3:30 and change, and my throat is dying right now. Okay. I'm done. my throat is very sore. I need to stop talking for a while. Okay. Thanks so much for joining me, everybody. Sorry I don't have like more energy. My throat is still dying on me. I'll see you Wednesday. I might try and do a Twitch maybe tomorrow. We'll see. But I'll see you guys Wednesday for a normal show, and we'll catch up on what the market's doing and what's happening in the world. And Monkey Butt, do you have anything to add? No? Okay, Big Dog, anything to add? Nope, they are just bumps on a log. And that's it for us. So, I'll see you guys later. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Bye-bye.